Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to the Honorable Examiners, the Honorable Metasis Supervisor Dr. Hafiza Abbas. Thank you for your guidance and support, which provide me necessary knowledge to complete this master project. And thank you to all faculty lecturers and members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my master thesis with the title Young and Promises Prediction on Credit Repayment Default using Machine Learning Algorithm. In this study, I use my understanding, thoughts, and experience as MI's team members and in contact with my superior and colleagues in Courts Malaysia Sdn Berhad. My name is Masalina Ismail and this is my presentation. Chapter 1, Part 1, Research Background. Young borrowers apply credit from lenders and make promises to repay their loan. According to advice and all, they apply loan to make financial condition better and to fulfill their requirement of life. However, these promises are tend to be broken either intentionally or unintentionally due to accidental medical emergencies or loss of employment. The prediction of young borrowers is defaulting their credit repayment in future is a challenging task for consumer financial institution. We know nowadays that financial institution play significant role in the market economy. Before approving loan to borrowers, financial institution predicts who is a good or bad borrower. How to identify the defaulters is a daunting task for a financial institution. This is a classification is a classic binary classification problem. Lenders face financial problems when borrowers broke their promises. The default credit repayment affect their funding cycle. This affect their sustainability of the lenders in the industry, according to Shah and Tolosa, as their fund are not able to be collected and they has to incur high costs to ensure borrowers make a repayment on time. Chapter 1, Part 2, Problem Background. The case study of this project is Courts Malaysia Sdn Berhad. Courts is a consumer finance company that in-house credit facilities to their retail store customer. Courts provide payment option through credit for their customer to buy product at their store. As borrowers tend to break their promises, resulting high credit repayment default rate. Hence, courts face sustainability issues and financial losses. Court's current methodology is to chase borrowers for payment after they already default their credit repayment. Courts has not yet practiced any prediction on credit repayment default operationally. Courts can make use machine learning algorithm to predict the young borrowers would default or not default their credit repayment. Courts data are stored in relational database. Supervised machine learning suit the structured data type. Next action is to train the data set and identify which classification algorithm has the highest accuracy among the popular classification algorithm. As Court's data is in relational database, supervised machine learning would able to be used to predict young borrowers who has default or not the credit repayment in future. This study will identify which machine learning algorithm best fit Court's dataset that has the highest accuracy to classify the customer on whether the customer will default or not default in future. Chapter 1, Part 3, Research Goal. This study intends to solve the complex problem of identifying the credit repayment defaulters using machine learning algorithms. This study uses orange machine learning tools to develop model to predict the risk involved lending a credit loan to individuals by finding the probability of default. This machine learning approach will help the financial institution to more inform credit scoring decision and reduce the defaulters on the loan amount in the future. Research question. What is the young borrower's credit repayment default rate of the data set? Second question, how to predict the young borrower's credit repayment would default or not default? Then the last one, which machine learning algorithm has the highest accuracy in predicting the young borrower's credit repayment default or not default in future? The objective of this research is to identify default credit repayment rate of young borrowers, to predict the young borrowers' credit repayment default or not default, and to evaluate which machine learning has more accuracy on classification of young borrowers' credit repayment default or not. So, research scope is this study narrowed down the scope to the young borrowers of one of the consumer finance institution named Courts Malaysia's Neighborhood. This study is based on young borrowers open account in year 2018 and the credit loan were settled before or on May 2021. This study applies machine learning algorithm techniques to fit, train, and test young borrowers' credit repayment historical data to predict default or not default credit repayment. This study concentrates on borrowers aged 30 years old and above. Chapter 2, Literature Review, Part 1, Credit Repayment Default by Income, Demographic, and Age. According to Edwis and all, higher the income, higher the debt. Income influence the credit repayment. 47% of Malaysia's young adults repay their debt with one-third of their income. 37 of Malaysian adults are living their life beyond than their income. Okay, credit repayment default borrowers by customer demographic. Sheikh and Tolosa surveys found that number of dependents negatively impact the credit repayment performance. Customer demographic are significant factors determine young borrowers' default credit repayment rate. Employment status, by family size of dependents, education level, occupation, gender, and marital status can influence the ability of young borrowers to make credit repayment. However, married households have better credit repayment performance than the single borrowers. Operation type give a significant factor to, according to Estima research, and according to Ramunajan and Vidya, there's no significant difference between gender, education level, and occupation. Okay, credit repayment by age factor. Uh, According to Moti and Anthony Mariadas, there's no relationship between default payment with the age of the borrowers. However, for Piketty, Shaikh Tolosa, Debug, and all Peter are also Stoba saying that there is a correlation between the the default credit repayment and the age of the borrowers. Chapter 2, Literature Review, Part 2, Machine Learning Algorithm. Okay, Sony and Paul research on using random forest find that random forest help banking officers to make decisions more accurate in predicting loan repayment capability. Bojergen and Gleason using random forest and also logistic regression, saying that this model works better for the credit bureaus and also implementing machine learning is to be profitable. Kandani saying that linear regression focus more adaptive and dynamics. Liang and all using 5 algorithm to do their research and found that logistic regression has the highest accuracy and the neural network is the second highest. And also they found that it's important to handle imbalanced data set. Ruyu and all research found that naive Bayes and decision tree has better classification effect compared to on comparison on credit rating classification model. Chapter 3, Research Methodology. This research methodology consists of 5 phases. First one is the business understanding, which consists of problem background and in chapter 1 and previous study research through literature review in chapter 2. Then comes the data understanding divided to 2 phases. Phase 2 consists of data extraction and data cleansing using outliers exclusion, clean dataset and imputation method. Phase 3 is the further data understanding through exploratory data analysis. In this phase, this study perform correlation check, feature transform, and feature selection. Phase 4 is the modeling and evaluation. For classification algorithm, choose for modeling the data set and evaluation is through confusion matrix and ROC analysis. Last phase is the comparison of all the models using confusion matrix and ROC analysis and the conclusion obtained throughout the study. Data extraction. Data set is the real data from CCS system database extracted using SQL Server, SQL Server to 2000 R2 software. The data extraction criteria, the credit is for the credit that applied by the young borrowers on 1st January 2018 to 31st December 2018. It excluded the cancel account and also the credit repayments. The account also consists of the credit repayment settled before or on 28 April 2021. It also excludes staff account and the credit repayment borrower's age. The data set is from the credit repayment borrowers aged between 18 to 30 years old at the date of credit apply. Data selection and data cleansing. Data selected based on customer demographic variables used for credit application approval and credit repayment agreement details. There is no missing value from the dataset as this is a relational database. Imputation done for buyer's data through records of debt of income less debt to income less than 0 and also 88 records with 0 credit score. There are 20 the variables consist of 2 categories. The first category is the agreement detail. Second is the customer demographic. Okay, data preparation. Data sets consists of 8,729 instances. BDW flag are the target variables, identifier, whether default or not. Variables skipped from the data train and set is the agreement number and customer number because both of our unique features. Service charge is dependency of the service charge, rate of service charge and cash value can be excluded. Settle reason is have the same inside with the BW flag variables and order date and settle date are both in the date format type. Data preparation. Data set contains of two data type, two groups of data type, a numerical and categorical. 6 variables are skipped as per explained earlier. 8 variables are numerical data type and 6 variables are categorical data type. Chapter 3, Research Methodology on Exploration Data Analysis. Okay, the pie chart here is the default credit repayment percentage and amount. The left side is the percentage and the right side is the amount. 39% of the 39.34% is actually of the customer. The data set is default credit repayment, and the amount cost loss is around 1.8 million. The bar chart is the distribution of the credit repayment data set based on purpose of the borrower's apply of credit limit credit. Mobile is the reason borrowers apply credit and has higher percentage of default credit repayment. And this is the distribution graph. Most of the data sets has the principal amount of 2,000. The interest rate is 99% is 15% interest rate. This will be excluded from the feature selection. And age is distributed at 25 years old. We will exclude the outliers because there's a there's a less than 0 age. The installment amount is around 40 ringgit to 60 ringgit per month. And this is the probability graph. The term length shows that higher term length, higher default. The red color is the default credit repayment. Occupation shows that domestic and janitor default credit repayment almost 100%. And the marital status shows that we don't have a 68% default rate. And also for gender, demographic is showing that women likely to default credit repayment. Correlation check shows that agreement total and cash value, which is the principal amount, has positive or strongly correlate as the service charge value derived by having the cash value multiple with the rate of service charge. So it shows that that's the reason the agreement total and cash value has a strongly correlation. Credit score and delinquent, there's not strong correlation and more horizontal line. And cash value and delinquent, higher the cash value is lower the delinquency. And the second correlation is service charge and installment amount has strong positive, strongly correlation. Occupation, debt to income and age do not show any clear correlation. Debt to income and installment amount shows negative correlation. Okay, features transform and selection. This is the left side is the categorical features transformation. We change the BDW flag to term length, occupation, and marital status and gender from numerical to categorical. And then for the feature selection, as we informed earlier, rate of service charge is excluded because 99% of the data set is 15% percentage. So chapter 4, modeling. Modeling, for modeling, 4 classification algorithm used to fit the trained data set of young customer default credit repayment. The models are logistic regression, K nearest neighbors, naive Bayes, support vector machine. Split train and test data. The data set was split into 2 parts, 20% for testing, balanced 80% for training set. This is the workflow of the modeling. Modeling is performed using Orange machine learning tool. Above is the workflow of young borrowers applied credit in 2018 and settled dataset. Evaluation of the all 4 modeling confusion matrix using the true positive, false positive, true negative, and false negative, and also the ROC analysis, sensitivity and specificity. Prediction, we perform a prediction. We insert in 3 new dataset link to the prediction widget of workflow link between the logistic regression model and the prediction to the new dataset. This is the additional that we have from the prediction, from the test and score, and then we use the logistic regression to do the prediction. Chapter 5, results and analysis. Okay, from the result to default or not, 45% of the agreement total are default credit requirement. The 45% is actually in terms of value. Because financial loss is 111.8 million due to the credit repayment default from the dataset that we have. Okay, factory worker is the highest default occupation with a 70% default rate. And manual labor is the second highest default credit repayment among young borrowers, which is 15%. In terms of product group, 23% of the default credit repayment among young borrowers apply to buy mobile product. So most of the young borrower intend to buy mobile product with and choose to pay using credit by applying credit. So even it's a higher, you can have a higher sales, but the default rate is also high. So then the single young borrowers are, then the next demographic is single young borrowers are default credit repayment more than married young borrowers. You can see from here, the default rate for single is higher than the married young borrowers. And then from the test and score, we found that test on trained data has the fastest train time compared to other three sampling method and with high classification accuracy. Leave one out has the lowest time to test and score. On the confusion matrix and ROC analysis, table confusion matrix here shows that logistic regression has the highest accuracy. ROC analysis illustrate logistic regression the highest accuracy too. Highest specification CT and also highest sensitivity. On result on the prediction, 3 new dataset inserted from the active credit repayment account applied in 2018. From this exercise, agreement total 500,602,807,320 are predicted to default credit repayment in future, while the other two agreements will not be defaulted. Chapter 6, conclusion and recommendation. The research outcome shows that 45% of the agreement total are default credit repayment, cause financial loss 11.8 million due to the credit repayment default. Factory workers 70% and manual laborers 15% show that they are default credit repayment. So critical type of occupation has good credit repayment performance. Costs should think about the how to on the credit approval process for these two set of occupation type. 47% young borrowers applied credit as method to pay their purchase on the mobile product, and out of that, 20% of them are default credit repayment. There's no significant differences on marital status category on default or not default between single and married young borrowers. Faster and research also shows that faster sampling technique based on trained data and leave one out is the slower sampling techniques. Logistic regression and NVS has similar percentage outcome for both true positive and true negative. ROC analysis interprets that logistic regression and NVS have almost perfect test ROC curve. Logistic regression has a highest ROC curve score of 0.502. Recommendation: costs to apply machine learning algorithm to predict default credit repayment to reduce the default rate and minimize the financial losses. Costs able to action by reminding the using this machine learning algorithm, costs able to action by reminding the predicted to default credit young borrowers across contact methods such as application methods such as messaging application, SMS, email, or friendly call. Future works: train and test borrowers data set on other demographic factor. We can test on the employment status, educational level, residential status, and family size. Future study on borrowers' behavior has financial means to pay or neglect to pay to decrease delinquency rate. And less research on consumer finance, credit providers, default credit repayment. It is time to fill the gap. We have come to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a great day. Assalamualaikum.